Hello and greetings. I am Diane Cox and I am back to do another Mythic Tarot little exploration. This beautiful deck. And we are on to the 6th card of the deck. The Lovers. We are in for some lovers chat today, and in the Mythic Tarot deck, I really like this story. Okay, let's just get into it because it's like so. Okay, let's just look at the symbolism first. So you've got the chappie in the foreground, Paris, king of the son of the king of Priam, Troy. We're talking about Troy here. And when Paris was born, the oracle had said that Paris was going to be the downfall of his father. Okay, and so his father decided that Paris should be whisked away and left to die on a hillside. Classic myth. He is immortal, King Priam. So this is how Paris starts his life. Paris is then rescued from said mountainside by a shepherd. And Paris grows up looking after sheep. He is handsome and charming and a womanizer of note. So he's in the hills and in the fields, and he's having lots of roly-poly with as many women as he can get his mitts on. So here we have in this Lovers card, Paris, and he's been given a terrible task. He's been forced by Zeus, okay, to carry out this terrible task because, in true god fashion in these mad myths, these three goddesses, so you've got Hera in purple here is Hera. You've got Hera, queen of the gods. In the middle you've got gorgeous Aphrodite, and on the other side you've got fantastic warrior Athena with her sword of justice. Okay. These three goddesses were quarrelling about who was the fairest. So in Olympus, when you think the gods are looking down and basically, deciding what must happen to this part of humanity and that, and basically showing their love and huge intelligence and moral integrity to the world, what's actually going on is they're quarrelling over who's the fairest. So Hera, Aphrodite and Athena are quarrelling. So what happens is, because obviously Zeus is a little bit bored of hearing this yakking going on about who's the fairest, basically he makes Paris, who's the messenger? I think Mercury has to go, Hermes has to pass a message from Zeus to Paris to say, Zeus wants you to be the judge in the contest of these goddesses of who is the fairest. Imagine that. It's like, okay, come on Paris, you've got to choose between the queen of the gods, Aphrodite, and Athena. What a terrible thing. So obviously he has a crook in one hand from his shepherding, and he has a golden apple in the other. So the prize for these goddesses is that they get a golden apple. Do goddesses need a golden apple in Olympus? Who knows? So here he is. So little Paris, with his sweet naivety, and actually I think it's quite wise what he did. He said, can we divide the apple in in thirds? Can we just divide the apple into three and say equally these goddesses are as fair as each other? They all have their own beauty in their own way. Very wise, I thought. But Zeus and Hermes were having none of it. It's like, no, you must choose the goddess of the fairest. And so poor Paris, in his adolescence, has to stand before these three mighty women. Imagine it, the wrath of the two that aren't going to get picked. And so what do you think happened? Okay, so what happened? So you've got the Queen of the Gods, who can offer him worldly power, worldly kind of knowledge and like I say, power and rulership. You have Aphrodite with her cup of love, and offers him the fairest mortal woman that he can obviously roll around with and marry, maybe. And then you've got Athena saying you can be the most just and best warrior of them all. So Paris is a teenager. What do you think he's going to do? Who's he going to choose? It's a teenage kind of adolescent male. What do you think he's going to choose? Is he going to choose to be a great warrior? Is he going to choose worldly power and great just rulership? Or is he going to choose, it's kind of, oh dear, you know what? So basically they're parading around in front of him, and Hera has her globe of the earth in her hand to show him worldly power. And Athena has her sword and showing him how fantastic he would be, and a great swordsmith and great fantastic warrior of note. And Aphrodite just opens her gown, basically. It's such a great story. And who do you think he chose? It's not rocket science, is it? So he gives the golden apple to Aphrodite, and Hera and Athena basically go, oh, okay, that's all right, like women can, and then go off together and start plotting the fall of Troy, because Aphrodite gifts Paris Helen of Troy, okay, who just happened to be married at the time. So basically Paris is given Helen of Troy, she's already married, and it causes the famous Trojan War, and it causes, probably with the help of Hera and Athena, the absolute downfall of Troy, therefore proving the oracle right. Okay, so that's the myth behind this particular card. Now it's interesting because in Rider-Waite you've obviously got the two, you've just got a man and a woman, and you've got the angel behind, and the big mountain of the big mountain in the background, the big uprising thing in the background. So here it's a bit different in this Mythic tarot deck, because you've got three women and one man. so the symbolism here is taking it's about what you value at the time, okay, what you value, what your choice reflects about you. That's what the card is about. It's about making decisions and choices, and how you have to be you have to take the consequences of the choices you make. You have to really think about why you're making those decisions, why you're doing certain activities, and you have to think about how is it going to reflect upon you, basically. Now I know in this deck, in fact, it does say it's related to love and relationships and marriages and the dynamics. I always think with these cards, it's the dynamics. It's the dynamics of relationships. When I'm looking at the lovers generally, the card generally, it's like, okay, because if you're doing a reading about career or business or stuff, and you get the lovers, I've always found it's like, well, but very early on when I was doing tarot, I was like, well, how does this relate to, does marriage or affairs or whatever relate to business? And so obviously you have to kind of go, okay, it's not about that. It's obviously about, it's about decisions, and it's about, for me, it's about relationships and what each element of a relationship brings. It's about healthy communication. It's about healthy dynamics. It's about, you know, sitting down and talking. Like any decent relationship, it's based on communication. Great relationships are based on great communication. You know, really sharing how you feel and what you want, and, you know, even if you want different things, you know, I think relationships can still be very, very obviously successful. So with Paris here, he chooses Aphrodite because he's young, he's a man, he has, you know, he's driven by certain desires and instincts, and it's like, okay, right, so you're ignoring the worldly power and being a great warrior. All you want to do is you know, get jiggy with it, do the wild thing, you know, and that kind of constriction because of his age and where he's at, and he hasn't got the broader knowledge. And I think this card very much points to that, the broader knowledge, looking at the broader knowledge. I mean, I know sometimes with the Rider-Waite, it's easy to say, okay, this is two paths. There's two paths here, and there's, you know, the angel, and there's the blessings, and, you know, there's kind of this lovely, great, harmonious potential, always a potential, you know, a harmonious potential. So, and what you have to, what I think, what the symbolism here is what's really interesting is you've got the factor of discontent in this pack, because Paris is going to, I won't swear, Paris is going to really miff off these two mighty goddesses. You know, he's gonna, you know, and he's going to disappoint. And I think that in the lovers is a great thing to consider. It's the potential for disappointment, the potential for things not quite working out. Or, you know, I feel Paris here is in a bit of a rock and a hard place, isn't he? You know, he's obviously in a terrible, he's in a lose-lose situation as far as I'm concerned, because he's going to kind of annoy two very powerful goddesses, and then he has to take the wrath of that. But that's also the symbolism. You know, it's like, okay, you make these decisions, and we have to take the you know, the whole wrath of our decisions and the joy of our decisions. And of course, these can always be re-evaluated. I think it's a great thing for the lovers. So obviously, if we take it down to the basics, Paris is a lover. You know, Paris is, you know, it is the classic thing of just choosing a kind of instinctive, almost like, okay, so it's like the lovers can bring up this instinctive drive that you want to do something that is so impulsive. And like I say, I don't always relate it, and obviously it depends what cards are around it. I don't always relate it to that. It can be career, it can be business, it can be making choices in business. It can kind of be going, okay, let's you know, let's look at the whole thing here. Let's look at what's going on. Let's look at the whole choice and what I have to be responsible for. And I think a lot of these cards always kind of have the great potential to reveal that and to enlighten that. Okay, so when you're analysing it, I would say if the lovers comes up, it's like, okay, there's choices to be made, there's decisions to be made here. Okay, there's a kind of there's an ability here to really sit and contemplate what's going on. Okay, it can be two forces coming together. It can be people coming together. It can be looking at a marriage of, you know, an artist and an art dealer. It can be a mechanic and someone who needs their car doing, you know. It can be just relationships, creativity, business kinds of things. But choose wisely. Don't be impulsive. with the decision. Just look at all the factors, look at all the players, so to speak, and just go, okay, let's really think about this. And let's go, okay. And if I look at the Rider-Waite, I often think with the Rider-Waite, I often would say, okay, you've got, like I said, people bring in elements of any relationship. So what you really want is integrity, honesty, openness. And Paris has to do all of that. Be open and honest with your relationship dealings, with your business dealings, with your dealings of, if you are in a creative endeavor, if you are doing something new. It's bring into the decision that which you would really want for yourself. If you're thinking of relationships, you want someone to be honest and open and to tell you, not to keep anything secret. If you're signing a contract, it's like, okay, look at it properly. Look at, do some research into the people you're looking at contracting with. Read the small print. That's what I would actually say. Poor Paris here didn't really have any small print to read. And the design. It's funny how, when you look at Paris, sometimes I was going to say sometimes it's an illogical decision. Sometimes people make decisions that it's like, why did you do that? Well, because he's young and his hormones are raging and his sap is rising, and that's the thing at the moment. What can you what can you say? That's what he's into. And sometimes people do things that are illogical in marriages, in relationships, based on not really thinking things out, and then they have to take the flack for it or the joy for it. So for me, The Lovers is about communicating, and what I really love about this regarding the myth is the fact that he does at the beginning say, well, let's just divide the apple into three. You're all beautiful. You all have fantastic qualities. So let's divide the apple into three. And he does have that wisdom to say, I don't want to choose. But sometimes we do have to, in the end, do it. We do have to make decisions about stuff, and we do have to, be responsible for them. And it is about love, because this Lovers card is about, or lust card, I would say, does the promise of Aphrodite giving him a beautiful woman, Helen of Troy, it wins over everything. The hormones and the power of woman, and sometimes women mustn't underestimate that, the power of woman, and men's great desire to be next to a soft, warm, gorgeous female with all those curves, and even Athena would have a sword by her bed. So hey, that's the myth. Poor Hera, the queen of the gods, gets dissed by it all. Oh dear, it just makes me laugh, the thought of these three fantastic goddesses just arguing over who's the fairest. It's like, okay. So yes, poor Paris has to go through the initiation of fire. He has to make the decision. He has to let his loins guide his way, and then his father and Troy fall because of Helen of Troy and how she was given to Paris even though she was already betrothed. So I do like that story. It's a great one. So there you go. That's my take on the Mythic Tarot and the Lovers. So I hope you enjoyed that. And when you're in your readings, just see what comes up on the day, whether sometimes Hera might be kind of on your mind, or when you're tuning into your client, or, who you're doing your reading for, and whether it's a friend or family. And then sometimes Aphrodite might be more domineering, Athena, or sometimes little Paris and his golden apple. So just see, on the day, which one seems to be really coming out at you and going, me today, me, choose me. So hope you enjoyed that, and have a lovely day. We're going to be back next with the we're all going to be back next with the Chariot, and see where life is taking us and who's in control there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will be posting again soon. Have a great day.